Hey there, my name is Cassie Klauser, and I am Creative Director of Magnetic Branding, branding from the inside out. And I've been in branding and design for about 10 years now, and I feel a passion to be part of the leading edge of brand strategists and designers for conscious businesses, soul-led businesses, usually healers, coaches, guides, creatives, nonprofits. Today I wanted to somewhat introduce myself to you, to YouTube. This is how I might look like on an ordinary day. This is what my office would look like on an ordinary day. And I'm going to talk with you. And I want to speak on this idea, this core important idea of branding from the inside out. This is an opportunity where a lot of my work with clients, and I'm designing their visuals and that kind of thing, a lot of it depends on me. But this area of branding from the inside out, identifying and branding the experience of what it's like to be in your business, is something that I can speak to on a video that can help you to contemplate and to feel the depth of, and to bring insight on how to deepen your practice and how to improve your brand experience. Because for me, even you don't have to have a beautiful brand to have a great brand experience. You don't have to have it designed by some New York advertising team. The beauty of a brand really happens inside of your container, within your process. So eventually in my videos, I'm going to start tying in some of the archetype and branding work and the brand magnetism work that I do with clients to this topic. But for now, I'm just going to do a bit of an overview of elements of brand depth for you to start thinking about, even if you're already thinking about it intentionally, how we can enrich and how we can help that to blossom even more. So an element of brand depth, not necessarily related to your brand visuals, is going to be the level and capacity of your craft. I can't stress this enough. The passion and devotion and skill of your craft is going to be a core piece of your magnetism. And not just doing it because you want to be the best, but there is an undeniable passion for the thing that creates these flashes of insight, these mic drop moments, these experiences where people can't wait to refer you because of how good you are. Now, this isn't about perfection, because we're all human and we're all going to drop the ball every now and then. But you may have taken advantage of the fact that you are really great at what you do. And so defining that genius and defining that capacity where you're in flow and hours pass by and you don't even know it, like a time warp kind of thing. That element of your brand depth is extremely important when it comes to the sustainability of your magnetism. Because there's a difference between like being eye-catching on social media and, the depth of the craft of when someone actually enters your world. Another element of your brand depth is going to be depth of presence. What is your field like? Okay, so someone might have outstanding mental body and their craft is really great, but in the way that they hold a container might not be that awesome, right? how open and empty to insights to the person in front of you. How deeply seen does someone feel in your presence? And you see that there's a balance, because when we're in a container, we don't necessarily just want to be seen the whole time and not have the other person talk or give input. But there's that balance there of what space is tended for the person in front of you to be able to naturally sort out their problems. Another part of brand depth is your communications. So not just your advertising emails, but speed of response to communications, and is that intentional? You don't have to be, a person that responds within an hour. You might have a team, you might have a system, but is that intentional? How you're responding to the little things, and how do your communications, what's their intention on how to make your client feel, right? This is not necessarily a visual thing. And it's not just about creating happy feelings, but it's like, okay, what am I doing with this email? Every little drop adds to the brand experience. Another piece of brand depth, another element, is what I would call relational design. And it's not a visual design, but it's setting up understanding and expectations of your relationship with the client, whether it's live or even if it's a pre-recorded course. Creating clear expectations about the process, where you're at in the process, intentional and high integrity opening and closing steps. Does a client feel a sense of purposeful welcoming? Does a client feel an elegant close? And I've even received that piece of feedback in the past was, Cassie, I had a really great experience with you. And I wish that our closing practice would have been a bit more intentional, because I miss being around you, right? Like, I didn't have closure. So, this is a place where, like, for me, I'm so into my craft that the relational design piece is a place where, like, okay, I'm gonna turn up the dial on this and be more intentional, because even though I work with really present, radically awesome peeps, they need the process too, right? They need someone to hold that for them. And then finally, another really important part of brand depth is your client's human experience, the results. What is it like going back into their life? There are some coaches who are really great at creating an outstanding experience within the container, but then when the person goes home, there's a disconnect, and sometimes even like a letting down, So the results that someone gets in a sustainable way in their life creates a magnetism. It creates like a really full-bodied experience of like, wow, I want to encourage a balance of not being perfectionistic, and also aiming for that 10 out of 10 experience, and not because of the rating, but because of the completeness. So if you are someone who values a very holistic approach right? A holistic experience. It's not like, again, it's not just, oh, wow, this brand looks really badass. Like the whole thing feels like a badass experience and like I'm really cared for. And I'm getting results. So I challenge you to take one of these elements, okay? So the depth of your craft, the depth of your presence, the depth of your process, your relational design, the depth of your communications, and the depth of your results. And I want you to focus on one of these pieces and take a small step to help that piece deepen and blossom even more this week. I'm going to be doing more of these videos, and as you go along, if you like them, please subscribe to my magnetic branding channel. And wishing you a beautiful day.